Hey, what's up guys? Gemini back with another video, and I thought that in this video I'd tell you guys a little funny story from the life of a pro wrestling fan. The things I've done through the years to get my hands on wrestling tapes and DVDs and go to the events is something else. I mean, I'm talking about borrowing tapes and not return them from some of your best friends. Oh yeah, I'll give that tape back, I'll give that tape back. No, and then on the inside that you weren't giving that tape back. One of the funniest stories that I ever think of, and it cracks me up every time. Back, we're talking probably like 93, 94, they had a local grocery store that rented VHS wrestling tapes, and I used to go there and I would rent the tapes on a Friday night, eat pizza, rent 4 or 5 tapes, and eat pizza and watch wrestling all weekend. And that's what I did when I was 13, 14, 15. That's what I did in my young life at that time. So I'd go down to the Smiths and I would rent these tapes. It was Smith's Food and Drug, and that was the local grocery store. So I'd go down there, I would rent these tapes, and when I would rent 4, 5, 6, 7 tapes. And they probably had like 10 tapes at a time. So my buddy John, he used to go down there all the time, and he would rent tapes with his family and stuff. And he would notice that somehow these tapes were slowly disappearing off the shelf. Oh man, and they were slowly disappearing off the shelves there at the grocery store at the Smiths. They were slowly disappearing, and that's because I had I had bought out the whole entire rack. I called the manager there at the Smiths. Her name was Linda, and I called the manager there, and I bought them all. I got tired of renting them, so I just bought all the tapes. So get out of here. So poor John, one night he goes in there with his family, and he he notices that every single rest of the tape, it's just an 8-foot hole, it's a 4-foot hole on the shelf, and he's like, what the heck? Somebody bought all the tapes, where's all the tapes? And it's so funny because years later we're in Houston for WrestleMania 17, and we're laid in our hotel room. He's in his bed, I'm in mine, and we get to this conversation about how we used to rent wrestling VHS tapes in at the Smiths, and I was telling him, yeah man, I bought that place out, and he looks right at me and he goes, dude, I went there to rent tapes and they were all out. I knew that was you. And it was so funny because we weren't really friends at that time. We didn't really hang out like we became friends. But it was just funny because he knew that I was the one that was responsible for that 4-foot hole on the shelf, and he was giving me shit about it. And that was a really good memory. He was giving me shit because he didn't even really know me, but he knew of me. And he knew that I was the one. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I knew you did that. I knew you did that. I knew that was you. Nobody else was going to do that. And it was so funny because I bought out the Smith's grocery store. I bought every wrestling tape, and he went to rent them, and they weren't there. And then years later, he discovered that I was the one that was actually responsible for that when he went to rent them. And that was a funny moment. So that's a road story from Jem. Peace. Hey, what's up guys? Gemini back with another video, and today I'm going to tell you another story. I'll take you back to the year 1998, and it was October 98, and I had read somewhere that local video store, Major Video, was closing down. And so I went, whoa, because I had been in Major Video before, and I had seen that they had a huge wrestling VHS tape selection, and I went, holy crap, Major Video's closing down. I wonder if they're unloading wrestling tapes. So what I did was I called my buddy John up, and I said, dude, we gotta go. We gotta go to Major Video. their tape sales closing. They're closing down, and they're gonna have wrestling VHS tapes. There was one thing. I was at work. Major Video was an hour away, and I was like, oh man, I can't pass this chance up. I gotta get up there, but what am I gonna do? I'm working, so I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go on my lunch, and if I'm late going back to work, I'm late going back to work. It didn't matter. So, grab my buddy John, get in my car. I was driving a Dodge Neon, a 1998 Dodge Neon, a white Neon. What a piece of crap car this was. But it was my first car. I was 18 years old. So anyways, we get in my car, I grab my buddy John, we drive up to Major Video, which was an hour away, and I knew I needed to be back to work, but I didn't care. So I get to Major Video, and they have rows and rows and rows and aisles of just VHS tapes stacked on the stale, because this is the time that DVDs were starting to take over everything. So Major Video was just unloading their VHS tapes. Or maybe they were going out of business, I don't really remember, but I'll never forget it. I went through table after table after table looking for VHS tapes, and I scored 40 WWF VHS tapes. I mean, I'm talking, I was holding them in stacks. I went through each table. It took me like an hour and a half, but I was not leaving there without those pro wrestling VHS tapes. And so I wiped them out. I get to the counter, and the girl says to me, she goes, "Are these all the same thing?" And I said, "Yeah, they're all the same thing." I really didn't want to explain to her the pro wrestling fanaticness that I was having. She says, "Are you sure you want to get all the same kind of movies?" I'm like, "Yeah, just ring them up." So anyways, I'm getting these VHS tapes, these valuable VHS tapes. I'm talking about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat VHS tape, and all these other VHS tapes, Heart Foundation, which I still have to this day up here. This tape right here, Heart Foundation, and I unloaded a bunch on eBay years ago, but I rebought them all. But anyway, so I get to the counter, the girl's like, "Are you sure you want to buy all the same thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to buy all the same thing." And so anyways, I walk out of there with about 40 WWF VHS tapes. I paid maybe less than $100 for all of them, which was huge. And I remember the feeling I had walking around with all these excuse me, VHS tapes that day. Man, I was just in hog heaven. Did I get in trouble when I went back to work a little bit later that day? Yeah, I got in trouble because I was like 2 hours late coming back from my lunch, but I didn't. It didn't matter. That was one of the best days I had ever had as a pro wrestling fan, was walking out there with those 40 WWF VHS tapes. I scored big time. That was one of my best days as a pro wrestling and tape collector. The day Gemini wiped out Major Video. I loved it, man. What a great day for me as a wrestling fan. So anyways, this has been my Gemini wipes out Major Video story. Peace. Hey, what's up guys? Gemini, back with another story for you. And I'll take you back to the year 1998. We found out WCW was coming to our town for the first time ever. They're coming back. They haven't been here in ever. WCW probably hadn't been here since like the 80s or something. So me and my buddy John are beyond pumped up to go to WCW. Anyways, and we knew what was going on, so we knew that we needed tickets. We knew that we needed to sit by the ring, and we knew some steps that needed to be taken there. We're like, we knew we were going to get to the arena early that day when the tickets went on sale. We weren't going to go to no local grocery store and take a chance on getting crappy tickets. So me and him get up super early in the morning. It's probably like 4 or 5 in the morning, and we get to the arena, and the ticket sales don't even go on sale till 10, but we didn't care. We were there like 5. So we line up like 5 hours early, and so we get there, and then all of a sudden we see this guy on the microphone, and he says, "There will be a lottery to go to the front of the line." We were already in the front of the line, So we're pissed. We're like, oh my God, they're going to do a lottery, and if we don't win this lottery for our placement in line, we're going to get sent to the back of the line. Luckily, we won the lottery. We had the winning number, so we got to stay in the front of the line, get up to the counter, talk to the girl, score 2 ringside tickets for WCW. And that night, Bret Hart was wrestling Diamond Dallas Page. Kevin Nash was wrestling The Big Show. And it was one of the best memories I'll ever have watching this WCW house show in 1998. We went through a lot to get those tickets. I mean, we paid some dues. We made a lot of trips back and forth to the arena. We waited a long time in line to get those tickets, but once we had those WCW tickets, oh man, it was so fun. That was the first time I had been to a show in 10 years since I was a little kid, and we had a great time. We paid a little bit. We paid some dues to get those WCW tickets, but when Bret Hart wrestled Diamond Dallas and Kevin Nash in The Big Show, that was one of the best memories I have as a wrestling fan, going to that WCW house show in 1998. So, good times. Gemini, peace.